Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. On the segments this morning, we'll be looking at textile art and commercial viability. And I'm sure when we say textile art, you'll be wondering what exactly are we talking about. And of course, this transcends fabrics. It's, it goes into the fabric itself, the art of the fabrics, the modernity of the fabrics, the design of the fabric itself. So again, this conversation is a whole lot this morning, and we could not have gotten someone better to talk about it than someone who knows really what this is all about. We told at the beginning of the program that for some reason we all got prepared by wearing, something adrege and something designy on the program today. At least we saw Adebinke and Joy also in their batik attire. And of course, I knew that for some reason our guest was going to come wearing, what she does. And of course, she didn't disappoint. Thank you for me, Akin Ajayi, for being here this morning. She's a textile designer and creative mentor. Thank you for being here on the program today. And of course, your fabric looks as beautiful as ever. It's silk, right?
No, it's chiffon. This one is chiffon.
It's chiffon. But then you see, it's chiffon. But then, of course, it has the batik design. So for me, we'll be telling us what this is all about this morning. And for some reason, I'm waiting for Adebinke at the end of this show to say she has picked up another dream or she's picked up another desire, to go and learn how to do this.
Abibola, we are all creatives. So we're still under that same umbrella, whether we are journalists, whether we are broadcasters, whether we are actors,
Okay, I got you. Don't worry.
We're still under that umbrella of
being creative. Okay, yeah. All right, absolutely. I'm sure, of course, Fumi will tell us how creative this is and how easy we also can pick it up. Because again, sometimes we'll just have this fear of thinking, oh, I'm 50, I'm 60, I don't think I can do this. Age shouldn't be a barrier,
No, age shouldn't be a barrier at all.
So fantastic. Let's get to this morning. So when we say textile art, we know that it's broad. But then when we say textile art, what is it? Do we need a passion, to deal with fabrics? Or is this something that, you can just pick up as a hobby?
So I'll first start by explaining what textile art is.
Right.
It's about designing fabric surfaces, and it could be ornamentation, like putting beads and stones on the fabric. It could be dyeing, like putting that, or it could be weaving it into any design. So I don't think you need it has to be a hobby.
Right.
If you want to go into it, in fact, things are very easy these days. You don't really need so much passion. You don't need to be an artist to be a textile designer. Okay. All you need to do is to put one or two together and you're
good to go.
Yes, you're good to go, especially when it comes to adire. Putting dots and strokes in adire will give you an amazing design. So you don't really have to be an artist to create your beautiful designs. Okay,
so what kind of fabrics do you need to work with, or can you work with? Because I did ask you and you said this is chiffon. And I'm sure ordinarily one would have thought, you can actually get something as beautiful as this from an ordinary chiffon fabric. But then you also need to know how to treat those fabrics, because you can't just go and pick anything and then use any kind of chemical on this thing. So what are the basics when it comes to what do you need to know, to be able to treat your fabrics right? So
first of all, you have to understand that it's not all fabrics that are dyeable. We have some fabrics, it's not all the chiffons in the market that are dyeable. You have to make sure you get 100% natural fabrics. And there are different ways to test them. We can test them by fire, we can test them by water. Sometimes these days, we even go with our dye solution to the market. Yes, we have to, because there are some polyester now that feels like natural, even if you put in water and you test it with fire, sometimes it will almost deceive you. But the moment you dip it into the dye, you realize that it's not going to dye properly. So sometimes we go with our dyes to the market just a little bit, and then we test our fabrics right there to be sure that you are getting 100% natural fabric.
Okay, so when you go to the market to do that, do you need must you buy that fabric before you test it, or
no, so
you can just get a piece of it?
Yes, just a little piece. If you tell them that you first ask that, is it dyeable? If the person should tell you it's dyeable, then he should be able to give you just a little piece to test it in the market.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be easy.
Right. So again, because we've looked at, you know, the textile art and what it is, and you've been in this for how long now?
For over 10 years now.
For over 10 years. So at least you'll be able to take us through its commercial viability.
Oh, yes.
Because if it's something that hasn't been good, you probably would have dumped it a long time ago. So take us through when you started. What has changed from when you started and where we are now?
Okay, firstly, I would like to mention that I was into fashion when I started, and I realized that the market was really saturated. So I had to look inwards to see how I can make money, because being in business is all about making money.
True.
And when I started with Adire, I realized that because it's tied to culture, it's tied to our identity, it gave me an edge to be able to make more money. Then I was creating a ready-to-wear brand before I now totally moved into making Adire designs. So when you go into Adire designs, I am very sure that you'll be able to make enough money because it's tied to our culture. And when we mix culture with business, I think it gives you a better edge to make more money. Yes.
Yeah, so Adire is tied to our culture. I mean, it's traditional.
Yes.
And then we see that, okay, it's our own. But again, a lot of people, you know, and this is also, maybe you'll take us through how we've transcended from using other fabrics. Because, I mean, what we grew up to know was the normal fabric, what is it called now, that is used for the normal Adire,
brocade.
The brocade, and then sometimes the teru for you know. So then, but at what point did we get to that place where we thought, oh, we could explore with other fabrics? Now we have silk, now we have chiffon. People use different things now, you know, to get, some people use lace to get, you know, this. So at what point did we begin this exploration to think that, okay, perhaps this shouldn't actually be tied to just the Guinea brocade or any kind of brocade, or, you know, soft materials. At what point did we think, okay, we could explore and say how beautiful this could also come out?
So I'll just say growth helped in that part, because if you don't move to the next level, then you'll be stuck in a space that you are. So we had to think inwards. We had to think about it, that how can we start using some other fabrics? As long as the fabrics are natural fabrics, it is dyeable. So we started to explore. There are some natural silk. We have the natural chiffon. We have the natural crepe, and so many, like the lace that you also mentioned. So as long as you know that it is a natural fabric, you can dye it. And then we started to experiment. And then we found out that we can actually, we don't have to just stay on calico, which is teru, and we don't have to just stay on only brocade. We can move to the next level, because if we only stay on those kind of fabrics, we will not be able to attract the global industry, the global market. We have to use flexible designs that will go with different weather situations, and that was how we were able to.
I like the facts that you've mentioned, that this, of course, helped to look at the global market. And so how much of global opportunities has this also opened the market to? Because I know that I mean, some places abroad, when you go, you also see some of these things. In fact, in China, there's actually a market for this, and then sometimes you see things like, okay, this is nylon, it is kind of fabric, are you sure? So when you look at things like that, and the fact that we tend to claim that this is ours, it is our culture, it's part of our tradition, but then we've started exporting, people have started taking ownership of this, and so what are the opportunities open to, you know, especially those of you in the business at the moment, and those who would also want to take advantage of the situation and do mass production, like we say in the business?
Okay, so the opportunities lie in different ways. We have a lot of Nigerians now that are in diaspora, and most of them also like to represent our own identity, so they love to wear adire. And then we see all these high-end fashion designers put them on runways, and that's the best way to put our fabrics out. Also, when you mentioned China, you know, my mind went to that also, but I would think that is where the government can come in to help us with intellectual property protection, because we have some adire designs, some motifs that are for us in Nigeria. Batik is made all over the world, but we have different ones that are made for every culture. Like in Nigeria, we have in the Yoruba land, we have the one that we call Ibadodun. We have different patterns for Ibadodun. Yes, Adireleko is a process of creating, but the Ibadodun has its motif. When you see it, you already understand that this is our own culture, our own heritage. But you know, when it is produced from other people, then we have lost that value.
So they are taking advantage.
Yes, so we need to work on that intellectual property also.
So earlier you said that you have a question? Oh, okay.
I have a question for that intellectual property that she mentioned. Just 2 days ago, there's this lady who produces, you know, adire or her own kind of designs, and you know, she was complaining. She was holding another one that was copied. Her own design, everything has a pattern, a style, everything. So you designers, how do you protect what you have beyond government now?
Okay, yes. Yes, so that is where adire comes in. She made hers in, I don't know, not in Nigeria. She didn't make it in Nigeria, and I also saw the video.
Okay, you saw the video?
Yes, I saw the video, and she mentioned that the copied one was made in China. Now, the way we can protect it within ourselves,
but it didn't look different too from afar. Looking at it,
it's not really different.
Perhaps you have to touch before you know
yes, you have to
exactly. So the way we help our customers to protect it is we give you this design. There's a man that I produced for, and he works with, I don't want to mention his brand now because I didn't tell him I was coming here. And I make that for him. I create that motif only for him. And I've never posted his motif before. So even if he has posted it, then they saw it from his place. So I create his motif specially for him. You may charge a little more for that because I'm not using it for myself. I'm using it for just you and you alone. And there are so many designers too like that. I may not want to mention names, but yes, there are so many designers that they own those designs. Now, if you want to also own a design, you can't just go with dots and strokes. You must give the designer an idea of what you want. So when the designer creates like 3 different ones for you, you will pick the one that you want, and it will just be for you.
And you never produce it for anybody again?
No, you won't protect. That's one thing we have. We would never. You know, it's going to be like a good discussion between us. Yes, and definitely you pay for it.
So how about when others see the design of the motif on other people and then approach someone else to design for them?
So there's one beautiful thing about adire. There is no exact same adire. If I am the one that created the motif, even if you want to create your motif, it will not be exactly like I created my motif. That's one beautiful thing about it. There will be something different. It may be the color. It may be that I mix my colors together. Maybe I mix indigo and, let's say, red. And by the time I get my color, you may not know that I mixed indigo and red together. So by color, it's going to be different. By motif, it's going to be slightly different because you do not own the design or the idea. Yes, I'm sorry I need to bring this in. There was a time like that my students came to me and showed me something that she created for someone, and the person did not want to collect it. That the person said the design was bigger than the one that she saw. I said, but you should have explained to her that adire cannot come the same way. And then you should make the person understand also that you should have your own design. You don't have to copy somebody else's design. So that's how we handle
so these are some of the little challenges that we see in the business. But then, still going back to what Adebimpe said and what you also said, can you copyright your design, or can you, it's not copyright, what do they call it? Can you
trademark?
Is it trademark? Yes. Trademark. Can you trademark your design? Is it possible? You've never tried it?
I've never tried it before because sometimes even when you trademark the design, we are in Nigeria. I pray that things get better. People may see, you may still meet it in Idumota market.
Talking about Idumota, do you know that a lot of these adire designs are now made as Ankara?
Yes, but they are cheaper.
Ankara.
Are they cheaper?
Some are. Some are. Some are.
So there are two ways to this. There are some Ankara fabrics that some Adire designers design to make Adire. And there are some Adire, some Ankara that are machine prints. They are made from the factory.
Yes.
And that is where that intellectual property that I mentioned comes in. Because if we don't protect ours, then I don't know who is going to protect it for us.
So again, so what you've mentioned now is there, of course, there's the handmade, and then there's the print, the machine prints. What's the difference?
And the difference is the handmade. Anything that is art is special.
Yeah.
It's attached to a story. Adire is about storytelling. It's our creative. It's what we own. That is why we must embrace it. If we do not embrace it, how do we expect others to embrace it for us?
Yeah.
So if we determine to get the machine prints, then we keep complaining about the economy, then I don't know what we're going to do about that. We need to help ourselves to create them. And also, how you know the difference is that the machine prints are always very perfect. Like, you know, something that comes out from the machine. But when it's art, it cannot be perfect. The imperfection is what makes Adire different.
Is what makes it
Adire beautiful.
Okay.
If you look at your dress that you're wearing, you see that there are some parts that you have the black stains. That is what makes it very, very beautiful.
Right. So when it comes to we've delved into the commercial viability of this anyway. But when it comes to not mass production, producing in numbers, and then you produce by hand. What are the odds when it comes to the volume of what you can produce, or when you have time bound? How long does it take you, or how do you give your clients a time frame? And as to if somebody came to you and said, I want a job in so, are there time limits that you give and you say, you know what, I cannot produce this in this number of days, or so what are the what's the pattern? How long does it take you to really produce?
It takes us about, it depends on how many, like you mentioned, but if it's in bulk, it takes us nothing less than 3 weeks. Now,
so in bulk, can you give a number?
Like 40, 50?
Okay, 40, 50.
Yes, it can take us about 2 to 3 weeks, but we can make it shorter if we have more hands that will work at the same time. Now, there's one good thing about Adire also now. It does not mean that you're going to be the one to create the design is going to be the one that will dye it. Now, we have people that are tyers. All they do is they just tie the fabrics. We have people that are beaters. The people that beat the fabrics. We have people that are the artists and everything. So when everyone is delegated to their work, it makes it really fast.
Right. So do you pay them per the work?
Yes.
So definitely they're not your regular staff. So
you could be your regular staff, but you can also outsource them.
You can outsource. So what role does electricity supply play here? Do you have issues when you don't have constant electricity, or is it something you can do without electricity?
We don't really use electricity per se.
Because I'm just looking at sometimes some businesses that you really do not need electricity to run them. So you look at the viability of that. How about the weather?
We must have good weather because Adire is not something that you can put inside. If you want to dry it, it's always better you air dry it. You put it outside so that because it's natural fabric. So we need good weather. Adire is not any natural fabric is not good under the very hot sun. Okay. And also after dyeing the fabrics, we cannot leave it under the rain, because it's going to give us little patches. Yes, so we always, in fact, that is even one of our challenges sometimes, and that's even why I give 3 weeks to my customers, because I can't determine the weather. Yeah. So normally I should finish by 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks, but because the weather can be very funny, so I give 3 weeks so that even if the weather is not good today, we'll have to wait till. It's not like we're going to wait. We can air dry it in a closed space, but you still need that exposure. Yes, we need it.
Okay,
yes,
Joy.
Technology coming here, like coming up with a natural dryer or something to make work faster.
So we can actually use technology in so many other ways. Okay. But if we want the work to be faster, Adire is anything handmade. I think we need to work with what's the environment.
Natural.
Okay, so that's why we need to air dry it. You can use the dryer to also dry it, but you still need, because when we dip it into the dye, there's something we call I've forgotten the name now. You know, it has to, the air and the light has to work with the dye.
Okay.
So we need that.
You still
we
need that
to
natural
get
space.
yes, we need that to get the actual color of that design. So after doing all that, yes, we can now use a dryer to dry it if you want to. Yeah,
No, I think it's the same process with Ashoke too.
yes,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
Joy?
Okay, so my question is, how do we care for our Adire fabrics? When you just mentioned you don't put it
This one
under
was
direct
free.
sunlight,
This
because
one
I know,
was free.
because I know that I've heard people say sun will make your clothes fade.
Yes, any natural fabric.
Okay. So how do we care for our Adire fabrics?
I have made a
Go and
post
pay
about
for
this
that.
online before, because I remember that some people were saying that the Adire had holes that it got torn. It's because they are natural fabrics. Sometimes after putting them in your wardrobe for a while, any natural fabric, you bring them out for some time to breathe. You
air
open them up. It doesn't have to be outside. You can just open them up in your house, allow them to have natural fresh air, and then you put them back. So that's the best way to protect them. Also, by washing, you don't have to use very strong chemicals to wash your fabrics, so that you can retain the colors.
Don't use washing machine.
Yes, you can. Me, I use washing machine.
Okay.
We use, as long as it's properly made.
I don't. And I don't use detergent. I
Why?
use
Bar
Joyce.
soap.
Bar soap.
You can use
yes,
bar soap. You can
soap.
actually
There's
use
some
some
mild
mild,
detergents
yes.
that you can actually
Yeah,
use.
for Adire.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
they are
always
mild.
like-
Again,
I'm
like
like
what
so
she said, as
skeptical.
long as it is, as long as it is the natural fabric. One
okay.
gets, especially when it is not the natural, and then you have issues with the kind of fabric that was used in the first place.
okay.
So still take, since we're talking about the care of Adire, again, some people will say, okay, I may not wash at the first wear. And some will say, no, I cannot wear another cloth if I don't wash it. Meat and facts.
So the reason some people don't want to wash at the first wear is because they are not sure if it's going to get faded. And that is when you don't buy original Adire fabrics. We have different fabrics in the market, especially when you go to the normal local market. There are some that were not, the fabric was mixed with polyester from weaving. And then when it is dyed, the moment they put inside water, all the colors will go, because polyester can never be dyed. Now, they will, after dyeing it, they won't wash it. They fold it and then put it on the rack for you to buy. So when you buy it, you do not know. That's why some people will come to me, oh no, I saw some material at this low amount in the market. I understand you. But the thing is, I'll think in my mind, better don't wash it yet, because if you wash it, it's over.
I don't let rain beat you.
Because the moment you put it inside water, that dye that they didn't wash will be washed out from your home.
And then you're like, what happened?
Yeah, so if you use 100% natural fabric, it is too short. That's why I told you that I use washing machine to wash mine. It doesn't fade. It won't fade.
Let's talk about, we've talked about exports and global opportunities. Let's talk about empowerment and job creation, especially today that, a lot of people are complaining, the economy is bad, blah, 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 but yet people are still, people will still buy clothes. People will wear clothes, no matter how expensive it is. But is this a source of job creation? Is it an employment pathway if you take proper opportunities, of course, in this business?
Yes, like I always tell people, Adire is our next milestone. It's $1 million industry.
Wow.
The fashion industry is divided into 4 segments. We have the textile industry, we have the garment industry, we have the production, the promotion, and we have the distribution. The textile industry does not have enough people. That is why we always go out to buy fabrics from outside. So if you see that as an opportunity to get something done, it is fantastic. Also, you do not need a very big factory to start. You can just use the back of your home to start creating your own designs. As long as you have your buckets, you have your dyes, you have natural fabric, because I will keep talking about that. And you have all those other things in place, you can start. And then there's another beautiful thing about Adire is that you do not have to have so many yards to start your business. 2 yards is going to make, this is about 2 yards. Okay. 2 yards is enough to make something nice. Yeah. And the moment you start advertising it, you have already opened a source of income for yourself.
Yeah. So in identifying dye, because again, we know that dye is major when it comes to adire, and then of course the mixture, the color combination, and all of that. Is it also something that needs to be properly learned? Because you need to know the measurements, you need to know the
and you need to know the type of dye to
Okay.
use. You need to know the measurements. You need to know everything about the process of creating the design. Yes, you need to know. You need
If
to
you don't know
learn.
how to, if you don't know how to draw,
I mentioned
splashing, any splashing is the
beautiful,
design.
very beautiful.
Any splash is good to go when it comes to
Yes,
making
ma'am.
adire. Okay. Are you? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
When we were in primary school,
Yes, ma'am.
we used to
Everybody,
do this.
I mean, we
We
were
all
taught
did
how
this.
to do
We
it.
all
It's just
did
that
this.
plenty people didn't, the passion, you probably just didn't think that it was a
We
source.
didn't believe in it. Sometimes when we don't believe in things, we don't know the value. I'm very glad now that a lot of people that graduated from textile schools are now leading in the adire industry right now. There are so many of them. Unlike before, you only take those courses because
Do you take them to
you
pass?
Yes, you only. I'm even talking about university now or
okay.
higher institutions. You only take those courses because
As
you did not get them.
electives,
You did
yeah.
not
Oh,
get
okay,
medicine.
so,
You didn't get pharmacy. So you just say, okay, this is the only thing. Let me just go for it while I wait to do another jam and then get my medicine. But thank God that now it's not like that. A lot of people are going into this now from school and creating beautiful designs. It's an amazing space. If we had embraced it from that primary school, you see the t-shirts. Now t-shirts is about 6,000 or 8,000 naira for only one.
For one.
You know, when you create adire t-shirts, it's a very good business.
Right.
So if we can embrace all these things like the Chinese when they are small, and then we embrace it till, I'm sure we wouldn't be where we are.
But is funding a barrier in this business?
No, I don't think so.
But some will say
Say
it
that.
is.
I don't think so, because you can use as
As little
as
to start.
yeah, you can use as little as 50,000, 100,000. I think that's quite little for business, you know. So if you know that you want to earn from it, I think 50,000, 100,000 is not too bad.
Right. Okay. Before we go this morning, I know that earlier you said government, needs to come into because of regularization, and then to also help protect our intellectual property here. But then, when you also look at the business generally, is it one that you think that you have enough people, or there's still a lot of room for more people to
there's
come
still
in?
a lot of
because
room.
of our David Pay.
Can't
There's
you
still
see
a lot.
listening
Like,
attentively?
rapt attention. Like,
Yes,
so
There's still
there's
a lot
still
of room.
Okay.
I always advise that like some people will tell me, oh, I want to come and work with you. Okay, you can work with me, but are you sure you are ready?
Okay.
It's not hard.
So how do you know somebody who's ready?
I can't know if you're ready. You will come and then you'll be ready. You know, because there are some times that some people would say they're ready, but they are actually not. But it's not even difficult. Adire making is very easy. It's not so difficult like that. Like the ones that you said they taught us in primary school, for them to have taught primary school students, then I don't think that's hard. If somebody can start from there, then you can actually move it to the next level.
You train as well.
Yes, I do.
So how long does it take for a regular training?
So my online training, I train in 7 days.
Oh,
And
wow.
in that 7 days, you access the videos in 2 days. Though you have the access to the videos for about 2 years. But to access the videos is in 2 days. And I can tell you that within the 7 days, a lot of students will submit their work to me, and I have never seen them before.
Wow.
I have a lot of students now that are also trainers, and they are doing very well in the industry. So I don't think adire is hard.
It's hard.
Not.
Okay. All right. You don't think adire is hard at all? Okay. All right. We need to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Fumi Akin-Ajayi, for finding time to be with us on the program today. We appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. We've heard it from, of course, our teacher this morning. And of course, like she said, it is something that if you can pick up, not necessarily because you have a passion for it, but I'm sure it's something that you can develop along the way once you have the zeal to learn. And like she said, there's actually plenty of room for many people to come into the business. And it is a business that you really do not need millions to start. You just need to know yourself. Is this something I want to do? Right, I'm sure that Fumi is also on socials. If you also want to follow her, you can reach out to us much later on the program. I know I follow her on IG anyway. So, of course, thank you again for being here on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right, we'll take a quick break. When we return, Adebimpe and Joy will be here with a Lagos conversation.